Porsche Cayenne is one of the best overlanding vehicles you can get. It's cheaper than a 4Runner. I bought this for $3,000 and I'd say it's equally reliable. This has over 260,000 miles and I'd have no hesitation of driving it across the country. In fact, we're towing the Miata to Utah next week. Because this is the tow rig for my off-road Miata, we don't do a ton of off-roading with it, but I still need to carry a full-size spare. The problem, there's not a good place to put it. Currently we have it mounted right here, but when we're trying to take a bunch of camping gear and our best friend Mika, it takes up way too much space, so we need to get it out of here. My plan is, Gavin's gonna make me a bumper.
I usually get a little bit more detailed than that, but I feel pretty confident on this one. I bought this bumper used on Craigslist and then retrofitted it to make it fit my needs. I'm gonna take a lot of the lessons I learned from this and apply it to Dylan's bumper. One of the best features I've ever put into a car is this fold-out table right here. We use this for cooking, we use this for studding Miata ice tires. Everything happens on this table and it's super helpful to have. For Dylan's build, we've got a couple requirements that are obviously different than my overlanding Tacoma. Step one, we gotta disassemble all this plastic off of here. Lucky for us, the Cayenne bumper comes in 2 pieces and gives us a nice straight edge to build our tubing bumper to. So now that this is off, we can get it disassembled, put this back on, and that'll give us something to build the tube bumper to. For once, we don't have to saw something, at least yet.
It's as if Porsche knew we were going to do this exact thing and they designed it to split in half. We are going to pull off these exhaust tips and maybe build some type of side exit exhaust so it's not in the way of our tubing bumper.
We're just going to mount some little extensions off.
Oh, got him!
So we'll take some tubing, have it come right off the bumper like that. And that'll look great. This is obviously just a piece of scrap. We'll have to do a couple bends throughout this entire long radius, but that's not horrible. Once we have our main tube bent, we'll grab some of this 4-inch plate and that'll kind of get welded on at a slight angle, about like that. This is going to be the tricky part for sure. Essentially, we're going to find our center point, make a gentle bend on that, and then just kind of slowly make some small gentle bends to try and match this radius. Let's go figure out what our angle is and get this first bend made. Here goes nothing. There's a little bit of spring back, so you always have to go a little bit more than you think, but it's always easier to bend more later, even though that was pretty undramatic. That's all we needed.
The first bend is always exciting. We are underway on the, I almost said Miata. We are underway on the Cayenne tube bumper.
I think that's actually not too terrible. I might go a little bit more. I actually like that quite a bit. So I'm thinking we'll make another bend at roughly 9 inches on either side.
I mean, it's pretty tiled, dude. This is freaking sick looking.
1, 2, 3 bends per side left.
Mika, quiet on the set.
Moment of truth.
Really good, dude.
Just got to do a little bit more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The whole thing is looking awesome. We just got one more little bend to do.
Woohoo! I can absolutely live with that, dude.
This looks incredible. I am so pumped right now. All we gotta do is tack this up, and then we can finally start on our swing out, which is the whole point of all of this anyway.
I'm actually pretty dang pleased with that, to be honest. I think that came out really cool. We've got our spindle kit ready to kind of mock up.
This is a $60 Amazon tire swing out kit.
For 60 bucks, it's honestly not that bad. And it's not like we're gonna be doing some crazy heavy mount either. It's just the one tire, and it's not even like a 35 or anything, so should mount about there, and we'll build ourselves a little swing out. Traditionally, what you do is you drill a hole through something so you have like top and bottom. Should be able to do that out of something we have laying around here at the shop. Well, it turns out our free drill press is showing signs of being free. That's still on. Well, this seems like something you shouldn't try at home. If that did anything, I'll be blown away. Oh, nope. Now that is the up and down part. Well, we still got our money's worth because it was free. Ayo! That'll just mount up on the car. Oh, come on. Something like that.
And then the hinge goes on there, and then our tire will swing out just like that.
Yep. So we've got our swing arm just loosely tacked on. Looks really solid. I think it'll do exactly what we need it to.
Look at that. Better than I could have ever imagined, to be honest.
All right, so it's a pretty standard little setup. We've got our triangulated piece for strength. This though, I specifically set up so that we can remove this part so that when Dylan's driving around town here in Colorado and doesn't need a swing out, he won't have to undo everything and swing out the tire. The tailgate will just work as normal. And if it sucks, we can always weld it on later. Next step is to get it bolted on and try our tire for the first time.
We are gonna have a latch to prevent this from moving like this, right?
Debatable. We might just bungee it.
Tire's going on for the first time. I can't wait to see it.
Hopefully all these tacks are good enough to hold on to this heavy tire. And if not, we'll try again after we snap it.
We've got a spare tire. This thing is so good.
Yo! I'm happy with it, man. We still have to trim this to whatever desired length we want, as well as add some pins back here so that it doesn't swing out and destroy his taillight.
Dude, nice job. This is really cool looking. It's gonna be so good to not have this tire in the car.
This guy will get mounted somewhere around in there so that when it's at full swing, it'll lock in.
So it doesn't like flop around. Gavin doesn't have that on his, and that was one thing I didn't like about it and wanted changed.
One of the next steps is gonna be to bomb in at least this half and fill that in and get it all dressed up so that we can stick a 1/4-inch plate off of that for this to slot into. We got our tab mounted. Now we just got to mark and drill some holes. So for the latch, should be something pretty similar to this guy gets welded on the end of that. And we will have just a little receiver hook coming off of this piece of bumper, and that'll clip it all together. A big reason people swing out bumpers are a problem or they fall apart too soon is this is not secure enough, which means this jiggles. You can see how much flex is in that. Some of that is its tact, but a lot of it is just leverage. It's basic physics. So this guy will stay mounted to the swing out so that there's not a giant snag. That way when you clamp the latch shut, it'll be nice and solid and secure.
Does Mika approve?
What do you think? Master craftsmanship.
Time to paint the bumper, and we're using some Steel It paint. Not only is it the strongest spray paint you can get, but it should actually match our titanium edition accents really well.
All right, it's that time. Everything's painted, everything's final welded. Let's see how this thing bolts together. Oh, look at that. That's gonna be so perfect. Now for the final piece, we'll get the actual tire rack mounted and set. Sweet. That is pretty freaking slick. We have two options. We can do the front like this, or we can do the side. Let's slap the tire on there and see what works best without getting in the way. That looks so sick. Heck yeah. I think somewhere along the lines of that.
Things were a little hectic getting all the vehicles ready and leaving for Matt's off-road games, but the swing up part of the bumper is done and is a massive success. It is amazing not having to have the tire in the car taking up a bunch of space or on the trailer, because there is literally no more space on this trailer. We're not like constantly moving it around and getting it out of the way. All we have to do is swing it out. So far, so good. I did forget to close it and drove off a couple of times, so we'll have to get used to that, but Other than that, that'd be great. We do still plan to add some steel plate to the bumper, build a side exit exhaust, and add a folding table setup. So subscribe for part 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.